Hello, human people! It's your boy Prez. Heath is still out in Venice, Italy, drinking wine and attending third division matches, so I'm filling in for this week's Kick Power Rankings. Thankfully, this weekend was full of drama, cup matches, broken records, and a South American final. And as a reminder, these power rankings are not just a list of the best teams in the world, it's a list of the teams that are in the best form right now. So let's not mess around, and here's this week's KPR. Let's start with this weekend's biggest loser. For the second week straight, it's Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp's January from hell continued this week after the Reds dumped out of the FA Cup with a 2-1 loss to Wolves at Anfield. That's their third straight loss at home, and their second cup loss in 2 matches after losing to Southampton in the League Cup. With Chelsea visiting Anfield on Tuesday, you have to be really worried for the Reds. One bit of good news though, Senegal crashed out of the African Cup of Nations this weekend, which could mean the return of the dearly missed Sadio Mané. How bad have they missed Mané? Before he left for AFCON, Liverpool won 17 of their last 24 matches. Since he's been gone, they've won 1 of their last 7. And Liverpool know they need him so bad, they sent a private jet to Gabon just to bring him back to Merseyside, which is just unreal. Okay, it's time for the good stuff. And at number 10 in our KPR, it's Celtic, who makes it back in our top 10 after breaking a 50-year-old record by extending their unbeaten streak to 27 games. The victims of this historic moment were Hearts, who suffered a 4-0 hammering with goals by Caelan McGregor, Patrick Roberts, and a double by Scott Sinclair. The win puts Brendan Rodgers' side 22 points above second-place Rangers. I mean, I don't want to say that the league is basically decided, but it's decided. At number 9 is Colombia's new supercampeón, Independiente Santa Fe. This weekend, Santa Fe beat Independiente Medellin 1-0 on aggregate to claim the Colombian Superliga title. It's the final played between the winners of the Apertura and the Finalización tournament in the Primera A. This is a big trophy in Colombia, and it's Santa Fe's record 3rd time winning it. So they also deserve a place in the KPR because they've now gone 17 games without a loss. Santa Fe are definitely a team to watch in South America and this year's Copa Libertadores. At number 8, we have Inter Milan. Inter are coming off a convincing but expected 3-0 victory over bottom-of-the-table Pescara. But Inter are now one of the hottest teams in Europe, and they've won 9 straight matches, jumped to 4th in Serie A, and are only 3 points behind 3rd place Napoli. As he has been all season, Mauro Icardi is on form and continues to lead the league with 15 goals and 8 assists. But manager Stefano Pioli has been getting more out of other big names like Ivan Perisic, Eder, and 24-year-old midfielder João Mario, who Inter signed from Sporting Lisbon for 40 million euros last summer. But props go to Pioli, who's really turned this team around since taking over for Frank de Boer in November. Inter have a big Coppa Italia match versus Lazio this week, and then a huge Serie A test versus Juventus on the weekend. At number 7, we have the return of Zinedine Zidane's Real Madrid, who rolled over a 10-man Real Sociedad this week with a 3-0 win. Now I know Real Madrid haven't been totally clicking lately, but they were back in great form this week with goals from Mateo Kovacic, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Alvaro Morata. Real Sociedad looked strong in the opening minutes, but were quickly shrugged off when Zizou's men caught their stride. The Merengues were all but assured their win after the 5th place side went down a man in the 74th minute with Inigo Martinez receiving a 2nd yellow. It looked to me like the defending champions were playing like men on a mission after being dumped out of the Copa del Rey last week by Celta Vigo. Pray for anyone who tries to get in their way after that. Also, with Barcelona dropping vital points this week with a draw versus Real Betis, Madrid have all the incentive to keep that daylight between them and their closest rivals. They get a chance for revenge against Celta Vigo on Sunday in another tasty matchup this weekend. At number 6 we have, and it's not getting any easier to talk about them, RB Leipzig. Leipzig continue to twist the knife of modern football on my side this week with a big 2-1 win over Hoffenheim. Before this weekend, Hoffenheim were the only unbeaten team in Europe's top 5 leagues. I had this pinned as Hoffenheim's 11th draw of the season, but I was dead wrong. After Hoffenheim went up early, Leipzig struck back through goals from Timo Werner and Marcel Sabitzer. But the man of the match was midfielder Naby Keita, who assisted on both goals. This kid seems to impress week after week, and you gotta wonder what teams will be interested in him this summer. The win keeps Leipzig 3 points off of 1st place Bayern Munich, but they face another huge test this weekend away to Borussia Dortmund. I can only imagine what kind of display the Yellow Wall has planned for that match. On to number 5, it's Monaco. Despite only drawing 1-1 with PSG, they make this list as they continue to hold their spot at the top of the Ligue 1 table with a dramatic last-minute equalizer from Bernardo Silva. Monaco showed real championship qualities by earning a point away at the Cauldron of Parc des Princes against the PSG club that has outscored their opponents 21-1 in their last 6 matches. That's something not a lot of teams can claim. However, Nice's 3-1 win at Guingamp leaves them tied on points with Monaco, but way behind their massive plus 43 goal differential. But guess who Mario Balotelli and Nice play next? Monaco, of course. Sounds like a spot on next week's KPR is at stake in that one. At number 4, we have Arsenal, who put in a very impressive display at St. Mary's Park in a 5-0 drubbing of Southampton in the FA Cup. Granted, Southampton made 10 changes to a side that beat Liverpool in the League Cup midweek, but what's important is where the goals came from for Arsenal. Theo Walcott scored a hat-trick, and Danny Welbeck, on his first start since his ACL tear in May, bagged a brace. It had been 265 days since his last start, and you gotta be happy for the kid after that. Arsene Wenger will be delighted to have 2 more confident forwards in his side as they roll into the second half of the season. The Gunners currently sit second in the Prem, 8 points behind Chelsea, and they host Watford on Tuesday, before heading to Stamford Bridge for a huge top-of-the-table clash on Saturday. If they lose that match, I think they can kiss any title hopes goodbye. Rolling in at number 3, we have Juventus, who followed up their recent win over Lazio with a comfortable 2-0 win over relegation battlers Sassuolo. The Bianconeri continued their title defense with first-half goals from Gonzalo Higuaín and Sami Khedira. Juventus sit on top of the table with 51 points with a game in hand and an important clash with Inter on the horizon. I wouldn't call the title race over, but they have all the tools to defend the Scudetto and have won 9 of their last 12 matches. Not a bad spot to be in for the men in black and white. Coming in at number 2, we have everyone's favorite team in the comments, Chelsea. The Blues mercilessly crushed championship side Brentford 4-0 in the FA Cup on Saturday. Antonio Conte's men breezed into the next round on the back of a free kick by Willian and goals from Ivanovic, Pedro, and Batshuayi. Chelsea are looking pretty unstoppable by not only moving on in the FA Cup, by also sitting way on top of the Premier League with 55 points. As we said, 8 more than their closest rival, Arsenal. Chelsea go to Liverpool on Tuesday and host Arsenal on Saturday in what can be the defining week of their season. Take all 3 points in both matches and Conte's men could be more than 11 points clear. If that happens, I say crown them now. Finally, staying strong at number 1, it's Bayern Munich. Now, we almost bumped them down to number 2 after a bit of a labored performance in a 2-1 win over Werder Bremen. But we said they won, they deserve it. It was a grind, but that's what champions do. This was FC Hollywood's 7th consecutive league victory and keeps them 3 points clear of the pesky RB Leipzig. Bayern's goals came from Arjen Robben, who slammed home a Frank Ribery cross from the top of the box, and a second came off of a sweet free kick from my very own doppelganger, David Alaba. It wasn't all sweet though, and manager Carlo Ancelotti called this match one of their toughest tests of the season. Bayern's next match is against Schalke this weekend. And that's it for our top 10. But I do want to give one quick honorable mention to Brazilian side Chapecoense, who this weekend claimed their first official victory since the tragic plane crash that killed 19 of their players. I think while we all loved watching the Chelseans and the Real Madrids of the world win all the time, it's important to remember what that club and those fans are going through. Anyways, guys, let us know what you think. Who did I snub this week? Was it Spurs? Was it Napoli? I'm sorry, but make sure you turn on the notifications so you can join the combo early. Keith will be back next week. Till next time, peace.